So it was my way of saying, well, I can mix in some scripture while at the same time doing all that darkness, sleeping around, just complete nonsense. So against the backdrop of that annihilationism, fast forward again to July of 2009, I was at the height, I would say I was at the peak of darkness, the peak of sin. Scripture calls it I think the scripture calls it the completion of sin or the fulfillment of sin. I think that's what the scripture calls it. But anyway, my personal life had reached a peak of sin. In other words, there was no more going forward after that. So that night, July 2009, I go into my bedroom. Um, Everything's okay. And fall into a deep sleep. And all of a sudden, spirit exits my body. And the difference between dreaming and out of body experiences, big difference. And so as my spirit leaves my body, I became aware of the invisible realm. We can't see with our physical eyes. Everything became more vivid, everything became more fine-tuned, in other words. And there was two humongous beings on either side of my soul. For some reason I remember their height. They were 15 feet tall each, and they were both dressed in white. And they were very shiny. I couldn't see their face, but they were very muscular. And they had a very authoritative presence to them. And I know they were angels, but at that time I didn't know that they were angels. And each one of them puts their hands under my soul and they began to lift me up to heaven. And as we're reaching the area of the cloud, was a thought that came into my mind. I told myself in my spirit, I don't deserve to go to heaven because of my lifestyle, because of the way I was living. Even though I knew the scriptures, I knew the Bible from cover to cover, I knew in my soul that I wasn't worthy of heaven. So at the second, not the minute, but the second that thought came into my mind, two other beings from the earth, they just shot up and they snatched me from the hands of the other beings that were all in white. But these creatures, they were the same height, same muscular, same authoritative presence, but they were all black and they had a very dark presence to them. So they snatched me and we literally just shot straight through the earth. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a believer in hell at this point. I don't believe that hell is at the center of the earth. I don't believe the scriptures verbatim. Only with regard to hell, ironically. I believe everything else, but I don't believe hell. And to my convenience, obviously. He doesn't love to live in their sin. So as they're dragging me through the earth, we shoot straight through the earth. I don't know how it happened, but obviously in the spirit, there's no barriers to go anywhere you want. So they shoot me straight through the earth.